Okay, everybody, let me know if you are here. I should be good to go right now. Let me know if you can hear me. I should be good. So let me know if you're here. I'll look forward to hearing from you. And we have a really important topic to talk about. So give me a thumbs up to let me know you're here. And Boo, I want you to know how thrilled I am that you are here. I got a little worried because I missed you for a few times. So let me know if you are here. You can't hear me? So
It looks like this is what happens. You click on it and it looks all good. And then
yeah,
luckily
because on mine, I'm totally fine. You're not, take a look. Go to the page again, fresh. If you guys are new and you haven't, Richard K, hi, how are you? Can you see me fine? And are you hearing me fine? You hear me. And what about seeing me? Let me know, because it looks fine to me. And you see me. Good to go. Okay. Welcome to Dishin with the Dietitian. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Debbie Kravitsky. I've been a registered dietitian for over 30 years. Currently, I'm a clinical dietitian at the Mass General Hospital's Cardiovascular Disease Prevention Center. It gives me my greatest joy and pleasure to help you to reach your dietary goals by providing you with current, accurate, evidence-based nutrition information. Together, we will shop, we'll cook, and I will navigate the way. And I am beyond over the moon since I had a little delay due to some a new computer that I'm just getting used to seeing my buddies here, including Tom and Boo and Richard. Awesome. So glad that you're here. You just started to work. Back to work we go. So I'm so glad you're here. Many people have been telling me that they're cooking the same old, and that one of the things that they're having the hardest time with is vegetables. So I thought that it'd be a great idea to talk about vegetarian diets and plant-based diets. What's the difference and why you might consider including more vegetables or more plant-based foods in your diet. Let me be really clear. There is no one food that can prevent disease. However, an overall diet can. That's why you consider to include a vegetarian or plant-based diet. It doesn't mean for a plant-based diet that you can never include meat. You get to decide what level of vegetarian diet that you want to include. Do one that fits with your family and include the foods that you like to include. Because what we're looking for is sustainability. You're looking for foods that you can stay with, that you don't feel deprived, and that you consider delicious. But keep your mind open to trying new dishes and new foods. Tom, once you gave me that recipe, which I think is beyond over the moon, with brown rice and shrimp and the Thai ginger marinade. These are more plant-based dishes that are just wonderful. So a plant-based meal means that 2/3 of your plate will be from vegetables and or whole grains, and then a third would be from protein. And why would we do such a thing? We do it because it improves your immune system. And we're right now in the middle of a pandemic, aren't we? So you really want to do everything you can to improve your immunity. A plant-based diet includes essential nutrients that we can't get from any other foods. Things like phytochemicals, those are chemicals from plants, antioxidants that grab free radicals that will help to prevent mutations in cells. So therefore, it will help to decrease cancer risk. It will decrease inflammation. That's a risk factor consistent with all chronic disease, including cancer and heart disease. And also, people who follow a vegetarian diet, they have lower weights. Weight is an independent risk factor for all chronic disease. When your weight is lower, if you lose weight, oftentimes your need for medicine, the dosage can come down, and sometimes you can come off that med. I can't tell you how many patients I've had who've been able to come off blood pressure medications and who've come off diabetes medications, all because they lost the weight by including more plant-based foods. This is the way to go. Increased fiber improves your gut microbiome. Look at the video on microbiome and you'll know what I'm talking about. So when you have more fiber, you improve your immune system, you improve your body's ability to absorb nutrients from food, and it decrease your risk for heart disease, cancer, stroke, and diabetes. You also decrease overall death from cardiovascular disease. You improve your bowel management, and when you decrease the risk for many cancers, particularly colorectal, probably stomach cancer as well. And colorectal, by the way, cancer is the third leading cause of cancer in the United States. So to decrease your risk by including more food, more plant-based foods, absolutely. Many people say to me, but I'm an athlete. I need to have those muscles. I need the protein. Actually, you'll do better by having a plant-based diet than you will a meat-based diet. You will have greater energy, greater muscle recovery, and you will do better. Many Olympians, it may shock you, they are not meat-based eaters. They're actually plant-based eaters. Arnold Schwarzenegger actually is more plant-based than meat-based. Hey, oh, hi, Janice. Great to see you. Love when the gang is all here. This is my greatest part of live stream is you guys and having you here. So I am so thrilled you're here. I love it when you say hi and definitely give me the thumbs up. For those of you who are just joining in, if you haven't yet done so, please hit the subscribe button. That will allow me to continue to do this. YouTube, just as you know, has said to me that they need me to get to 1,000 subscribers. Otherwise, I won't be able to have the freedom to have live streams from my mobile device. When I have a live stream, when I'm free to have a live stream from my camera, from my phone, then I'll be able to take you around and do all kinds of fun things like cooking and going to the market and all sorts of things. So in order for me to have that freedom, I have to get to 1,000. If you haven't yet done so, please hit the subscribe button. You also can hit the bell, which is a notification button when new videos go up. For those of you who are concerned about the environment, which I'm hoping we all are, there is a group called the Environmental Working Group. You might be familiar with this group, as they are the ones that also put together every year the Dirty Dozen of 12 foods you should consider to buy organically grown. Take a look at my video on supermarket shopping for that list. They did a lifestyle assessment, this Environmental Working Group, to determine the greenhouse gas emissions that are generated by food sources and the emissions generated by conventionally produced food, such as beef and lamb and cheese and pork and farm-raised salmon, was far greater than the emissions produced by plants, lentils, and beans. And so great was that if a family of 4 decided to cut their intake of steak or red meat just by once a week for a year, it's the equivalent in terms of the impact on the environment of taking a car off the road for 3 months. On 50 to go, Debbie. Oh, yes. Hey, Christina, you're right. That's right. I need 50 more. You're totally right. But I'm loving having you on as well. So you can see and you can see the impact of not having a car on the road just through coronavirus, many people staying home. I don't know if you've seen pictures in India and here, and you see the differences in the environment. It makes a big difference. And the greenhouse effect, for those of you who aren't familiar, it's when gases get trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, and it makes us temperature much warmer than might otherwise have been. And the greater the emission of carbon dioxide, the greater the effect. So what happens is plants actually absorb that carbon dioxide and give off oxygen. That's why they are so good. Now, there are different levels of vegetarian diets, and you want to go with the one that best fits your lifestyle and your needs. So there's vegan. When you're vegan, you don't include any animal products whatsoever, no dairy, no eggs. When you're vegetarian, there are different versions. So there's a lacto-vegetarian where you include dairy. There's a lacto-ovo vegetarian where you include milk and dairy. You use dairy and eggs, excuse me. There's a polo-vegetarian where you include chicken. And there's a pescatarian where you include fish. There's also a flexitarian where most of the time you don't, but you can include a little meat or chicken or fish in your diet. So many phytonutrients. Totally right, Steinler Consultant. I'd love, see, the best part of a live stream are the people on the live stream. So phytonutrients, so healthy. They are the nutrients from plants, and they help to reduce risk for all chronic disease, particularly cancer. This is the only place to get them is from plants. So make sure that you include them from whole grains, from breads and whole grain bread, cereals, and crackers, as well as all kinds of vegetables. Totally right, Stanley Consulting, right on the money. So, as always, this is the best group ever. In case you guys wanted to know, you just actually are. And you want to know, what foods do you like? What are you going to include? How are you going to do it? And if you're concerned about protein, it's one of the concerns. People who go on a strictly vegan diet need to make sure that they actually include more protein. Their protein needs are higher due to the decrease in digestibility of these proteins. There are many ways for you to get it. One is called these protein toppers. I don't know if you've seen them in the market. They're available on Amazon. They come many different flavors. I have a pepita and soy pea medley. There's a garbanzo and soy medley, and this is a tri-soy medley. They're different. They provide you with about 15 grams of protein, and you just sprinkle them on a salad, sprinkle them and just eat them out of here as a snack. And they're yummy tasting, and they're low in sodium and loaded with protein as well as fiber, very high fiber. So this is great. Remember, if I ever say anything to you, I always tell you to remember that fiber is your friend. A plant-based diet or a vegetarian diet is definitely high in fiber. Does it mean all vegetarians are eating healthy and won't get any disease? Absolutely not. You could be vegetarian and eating white rice and white pasta. I've had vegetarians who come into me after having a heart event because they were eating Cheez-Its. I mean, it's not the end of the day. It's just make sure that if you're having a vegetarian diet, that you include high quality vegetables and that foods that are high in fiber and or whole grain. That makes a huge difference. Don't think you get a pass because you just cut out the red meat. That isn't the truth at all. But do make sure you have a little bit more protein. Make sure you complement the protein. You can look at the video on weight loss to see how to complement proteins. And you're also the other nutrients that you need to be concerned about is the omega-3 fatty acids. The reason is omega-3 fatty acids will reduce the inflammation that is associated with poor outcomes for all chronic disease. Here's the omega-3s that will reduce that inflammation, thereby hopefully improving outcomes. They also lower triglycerides, a kind of fat that contributes to plaque that's a predictor for a future coronary event. Omega-3s are not only heart healthy, but they're also brain healthy. So it's important to include them. How can you, if the best source is fish and you're not including fish, you can look to an algal supplement. It's a seaweed supplement, and it will give you that omega-3. So look to include that supplement if you're a vegan. The other nutrients that you might need, that you do need to be mindful of if you're a vegan, is B12. You're not going to get B12, an adequate intake of B12, because we get vitamin B12 from protein sources such as chicken and fish and turkey and dairy and eggs. And if you're not including them, you're certainly not getting them. So you definitely need a B12 supplement. Everybody over 50 also needs a B12 supplement. So look to my video on B12 for a recommended level for you to include B12. Do note, as a side note, that you never think of vitamins perhaps as coming in different forms. B12 does come in different forms. It comes in one form is called cyanocobalamin. Cobalt is a cobalt ring, is the chemical structure of the B12 vitamin. So cobalamin is B12, is the chemical name for it. And cyanocobalamin is the kind synthesized in the lab. This is the cheapest form of B12. And just like the name tells you, that cyano is a little bit of cyanide attached to the cobalt ring. And it's thought to be very small and to quickly dissociate, and you just excrete it. But if that bothers you, then you should buy methylcobalamin, which is the active form. It will be a little bit more expensive, but make sure that you take a look. So, hi, Janice. What algae? So it's called algal supplement. There, you can Google it, and you'll see it will make sure that the algal supplement includes both DHA and EPA. These are the omega threes that you would get from fish that you can get from an algal supplement. So I don't have a specific name, but definitely Google on Amazon. You can get it delivered to your house, and I'll get you that for the next time, a specific algal supplement. I'm writing this down, and maybe I'll do it as we're having a live stream. So we can do that. Farm-raised salmon are not healthy for the environment. Right, they are not. They emit the gases. Pretty shocking. And they're not healthy to eat as well. No, that part is not true. So the issue with farm-raised salmon, number one, is that wild salmon will give you vitamin D. This gives you no vitamin D. But is it not healthy? Not necessarily. It's better for you to have salmon than not have salmon. And it depends on where it was farmed. So always check. If you buy at Whole Foods, there'll be a kiosk in the back. It will give you their rating for sustainability and for safeness, and then you'll take a look and buy the salmon. You'll see a guide, and it will match up with one of the levels on that guide on the placard on the wall. So you'll be able to see. You also can Google. I think it's called. Seafood safety. I'm going to find it for you, but there is seafoodfinder.com, and they will also tell you can look up a certain fish, and it will tell you the safety of that farm raised fish. And that's a great resource for people, seafood.org. So take a look. But great questions. I'm loving that. You're welcome, Richard. I'm so thrilled that you asked. It's great. Vegetarian diets are often low in calcium, and calcium is important for bone health, for vascular and muscle and nerve function. And without calcium, you can increase your risk both for fracture, and also you can have a lower bone density. We get calcium in fortified milk and also in tofu products that have been made with calcium sulfate. So check to see. Otherwise, you might need a supplement. Vitamin D. You're also going to be low in vitamin D. So I think everybody is low in vitamin D right now. Hi, Tom. How are you? You're trying to have two plant only diet days a week. I love that. I'm good with the fruits and veggies, but need some suggestions. You tried garden plant-based meatballs. They were okay, but very heavy on fennel. Yeah, I'm not a huge fennel eater. Any suggestions for good plant-based meat substitutes? So I rather complement my proteins than come up with the soy products. I'm not really loving them. You can grill soy or stir fry soy. You can use that Thai ginger marinade, Tom, because soy doesn't really have flavor. But I tend to complement my proteins. I like to do it that way. And when you complement proteins, you don't need to do it at the same time. You just have to do it through the course of a day. I tend to like to personally do it at the same time because I'm running in 50 directions all the time. So I just like to check that box and know I met that protein need. So a fun way to do it is to make a bowl. So if you take a bowl and make some brown rice, if you did quinoa, you already got a complete protein. But if you have brown rice and then you add whatever veggies you like, and then maybe a little lentils or have a yogurt on the side, I think that'd be a beautiful bowl. You'd feel great, and it's a plant-based meal. You also could do brown rice and lentils. I like whole wheat pasta with black beans. Let me know, Tom, if you've ever had that. And that's a great way to have a meatless meal that meets your protein needs, and it's high in fiber. So it's yummy, yummy, yummy. And we're going to talk about some more veggie dishes because I think that's really important. You're bringing us to a great point, Tom. So I'm so glad you brought it up. And we're going to revisit it in just a minute. So the best way to get vitamin D right now is outside in the sun, but we don't have much longer, not until mid-October. So mid-October, everyone needs a vitamin D supplement. So being low in vitamin D isn't really just exclusive. You're welcome, Tom. Isn't just exclusive to vegetarians. It's also pertinent and applies to everyone, whether you're including a vegetarian diet of any level or not. So watch vitamin D. It's really important for immunity. Actually, people who have lower vitamin D levels have more aggressive tumor profiles and more recurrent cancers. They also don't do as well with COVID because it's important for immunity. So make sure your vitamin D level is adequate. And if it's not, definitely take a supplement. I like D3. Vitamin D comes two ways, vitamin D2 and D3. Get the D3. What do you think of the frozen food meatless options like Boca Burgers? Some of them are great, JMK, great question, but some of them are high in sodium. So your mantra always is read it before you eat it. So some of them are great. Like I love the California rice bowls. I love the Dr. Prager veggie burgers. There's a Garden Delight. There's also a veggie burger from Trader Joe's, which is great. So go with those, but read the label, read it before you eat it. They're oftentimes very high in sodium, and you don't want to include one thing that's good and one thing that's not, that negates the whole product. You also want to make sure that you have enough iron. Vegetarian diets tend to be low in iron, and you need iron for both cell growth and oxidation and transport of oxygen to your body tissues. And there are two types of iron. There's heme iron and non-heme iron. Heme iron is from animal products. Non-heme iron is from plant products. The non-heme is not absorbed as well as the heme version of the iron because there are things that will inhibit its absorption, things like phytates and calcium. So watch things like in tea and coffee and cocoa because they're going to impair your absorption of iron. But instead, make sure if you do have a source of iron, that you include a source of vitamin C. It will enhance the absorption of the iron. If you're iron deficient, the best way to correct it is through an iron supplement. What do I think of the Impossible Burgers? Great question and really pertinent, JMK. So the Impossible Burgers, they're really high in saturated fat. I am not a fan at all. I know. It was a great idea. They just didn't do a great job. So really high in saturated fat. The number we're looking for saturated fat is 2. There should be no more than 2 grams of saturated fat in a serving, particularly for heart patients. So make sure that you take a look. It'd be interesting for you to see. If you Google it, you're going to see that these Impossible Burgers are really high. So I'm not a fan. One other amino acid that tends to be low for vegetarians is something called lysine. So make sure if you are vegan that you include plenty of tofu or tempeh or soy or lentils, because that's where you're going to get this lysine. All right. Now let's talk about how to, just like Tom said, how do we do it? And what's good ways to include it? Well, and I have to tell you, I know that a lot of people, that they're getting tired of the same old, same old. So let me know. And Tom, let me know, because I know you cook, if you've made chili, because chili is a great way to include all kinds of beans, and you can put it over brown rice if you like, and yummy, yummy flavors. And maybe not a dish that you've been having in the summer, but now it's getting a little cooler. So maybe a bowl of chili might be something that is delicious. When we talk, by the way, when I talk about protein quality, I just want you to understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the digestibility and the amino acids that are present in that food. So things like eggs, low-fat yogurt and milk, soy, tofu, edamame, they're all great high-quality sources of protein. If any of you like eggplant, maybe you haven't tried making an eggplant parm. You can even do it in your oven. You can do it with the Baby Bell cheese and tomato sauce. And tomato sauce, just so you know, tomatoes are a great source of an antioxidant, which is protective against all chronic disease, called lycopene. And when you have tomato sauce, you get more lycopene than you would if you just ate the tomato. So having tomato sauce on an eggplant parm would be a yummy, yummy dish, maybe something you haven't done before. You also can take penne, and you can make a whole wheat penne and serve it with roasted vegetables. Hi, Steinler, how are you? How do you feel about lectin-free diet? Oh, I know, not so much legumes for vegetarians with inflammatory issues. Really very, very few people, like an incredibly low percentage of people, have sensitivity to lectins. I know Tom Brady says that's his thing. That's why the nightshades. So from almost everybody, I'm going to say it's not an issue. If it's an issue for you, then go ahead, go lectin free. But I'm not I don't recommend it to most people because it's not an issue for most. Hi, Tom. How are you? You do make chili. I had a feeling. I'm a huge fan of your recommendation to the Trader Joe's brown rice. You use it all the time. I do too. I'm so glad. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with what we're talking about, Trader Joe's, and actually Whole Foods does as well, but I also like Tom. We get the Trader Joe's. They have a frozen organic microwavable brown rice. It is completely unbeatable because it is A, so easy, and B, it cooks perfectly. So 3 minutes in your microwave, you're going to have perfectly cooked brown rice. You're never going to go back to white rice ever again. And it's unbelievable. It's quick, it's easy, no pot or pan to clean, and you can do many, many things with it to change up the flavor profile. We use it in many things. So Tom taught me how to make this dish that rivals anything in a Chinese restaurant, with red pepper and the Thai ginger marinade, and it's incredible. And a little sriracha and some shrimp and a bag of broccoli slaw. That broccoli slaw, tons of vegetables, different colors. We're eating the rainbow. This is a great way to go. And the vegetables will displace some of the calories from the brown rice. So it's a winner dish. Hi, Janice. Good. Someday I will send you a great eggplant recipe. Oh, yes. I love that. Thank you. That sounds delicious. You can do a casserole dish. You can do it ahead of time. So if you took some vegetables and you roasted them in the oven, do any vegetables you like. Put them at 450, drizzle a little oil and salt and pepper. You could do things like zucchini, red peppers, yellow squash, an onion, mushrooms, whatever you like. Roast them at 450 for about 15 minutes. I love the DeLallo's pasta. Here's my penne ricotta. I'll take it out to show you. This is the penne ricotta by DeLallo. I get DeLallo's pasta at Wegmans, and I also get it at Shaw's. It's beyond unbelievable because it doesn't taste like whole grain. They taste very different. This is delicious. It doesn't even look like whole wheat, but once you have this, no other pasta is going to taste as good, I promise you. So I take that penne ricotta and I cook it just till it's al dente, because I'm going to put this in the oven as a casserole. You can assemble it ahead of time, and then you come home from work or you come home at the end of the day, just put it in the oven. So cook your pasta, roast your vegetables, and then mix them together. Spray your dish with a little Pam, and then add the vegetables and add some shredded. I like to take the Baby Bell and shred it, and just shred that cheese and put it on. You can crumble up a little Laughing Cow cheese, the garlic and herb, or the spicy pepper jack, whatever you want, and then put it in the oven 450 for another 25 minutes, and you're going to have a delicious dish. You can also add 3 cups of tomato sauce to that and mix the pasta, the vegetables, the cheese. Oh, who's getting hungry besides me? Yummy, yummy. Hi, Tom. You converted me on the DeLallo pasta. Oh, I'm so glad you hated whole wheat pasta but you tried it. So go you. That's rock star behavior. Go you. And I'm so thrilled you love it. This was the hardest thing for me was whole wheat pasta. And once I tried it, it was unbelievable. Never went back. So go you for trying it. And I'm so thrilled you loved it. You also can make a vegetable dish called a vegetable tian. Hi, Rich. How are you? Do you have an easy vegetable? Well, here's a tian. A tian is sort of like a casserole. So is if you saute an onion in a little bit of olive oil and then add some garlic, like 2 cloves of garlic that you've minced. Just saute it for about 8 to 10 minutes until that onion becomes translucent, and spread it in the bottom of a dish, an 8 by 11 or 8 by 12 dish. And then add sliced potato, zucchini, tomato, whatever you like, and just stand them in one layer. Sprinkle a little salt, pepper, and thyme, drizzle with about a tablespoon of oil, cover it at 375 for 35 minutes, and then uncover it. Put some shredded Baby Bell cheese over the top, uncovered 30 minutes more, and you will have a delicious casserole dish. I don't have a recipe off the top of my head for vegetarian chili, but there are many out there. For those of you who are looking for something different, don't think you love cauliflower, but you've heard a lot about cauliflower. Cauliflower really high in fiber. low in calories. Try cauliflower mash. It'll taste like mashed potato. Oh, hi, Richard. Thank you. Welcome. So make a cauliflower mashed potato. It'd be unbelievable. And that would change your flavor profile. You'd think you have potatoes, but actually you're having cauliflower. So take up the cauliflower, break it up, roast it in the oven or boil it for 10 minutes. And then dry it and put it into a food processor with a little bit of low sodium chicken stock and some cheese or some dry nutritional yeast, which tastes like cheese, and then a tablespoon of olive oil. And you could also add about a tablespoon of Greek yogurt, like the Fage Zero, and maybe a clove of garlic chopped. Process it all together. It will be cauliflower mashed potato. You'll think it's mashed potato. It's cauliflower mashed, sort of like mashed potato, mock potato, I guess. You can season it any way you want, and it would be delicious. And you could do that. You also could take cauliflower and do a whole head and roast it in the oven. So you could rub it with some cut a garlic clove and rub it all over the top and drizzle with about a quarter of a cup of oil. And then in the middle, turn it over upside down and scoop out the middle if you'd like. Fill it with whatever filling you like. It could be cheese. It could be cheese and vegetables. It could be spinach and cheese, whatever you like. Turn it back over if you want. You could rub it with mustard or not and put it in that oven for 450. And you're going to have a whole stuffed roasted cauliflower. How fun is that? You also could take that cauliflower, by the way, and cut it into thick strips and grill it with some roasted garlic and olive oil, and you've got cauliflower steaks. Unbelievable. Yummy, yummy. I love one of my favorite dressings is by Barefoot Contessa. Take whatever vegetables you like a tomato, cucumber, red onion. You bake cauliflower, but that's a great new idea. Oh, Janice, let me know if you try it, what you think. Coronal sections, what is that? You'll let me know. But my favorite dressing is I make it, and it's beyond. A quarter of a cup of red wine vinegar. To that, you're going to add 2 cloves of minced garlic, a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of mustard and salt, and then you're going to drizzle and whisk in about a half a cup of olive oil. It makes the most delicious salad dressing. Adjust the seasonings. I oftentimes will add more vinegar and more oregano, but you'll do with it as you like. When you slice it, it looks like brain sections. That's right. That's awesome, Janice. But you're totally right. A cauliflower does. Absolutely. And it's brain food. So go ahead. It's great to have a spinach salad. Sometimes we just don't feel like making a salad. Spinach salad, you really have to do hardly any work. Just take that baby spinach right out of the bag. If it's already pre-washed, you don't want to wash it again because you don't want to increase contamination. So take it right out of the bag, put it in your bowl with some chopped tomato, maybe halved grape tomatoes, some red onion if you want a little cucumber. I take, instead of goat cheese, I put the garlic and herb Laughing Cow cheese, crumble it. Now you've got so much flavor. All you need is red wine vinegar, and you've got salad, which is beyond. I love frozen. Sometimes you just want something frozen that's easy, that you don't have to cut, you don't have to do, you don't have to worry about. So Trader Joe's has a frozen vegetable stir fry already done with bamboo shoots and mushrooms and carrots. Totally fits the bill. Easy. Keep in your freezer whenever you want it. You're good to go. By the way, we were talking about cauliflower. I love cauliflower rice. I never thought I would like cauliflower rice, but it replaces the rice with cauliflower that has been rice, so it looks like rice. And to be honest, it'll taste like rice. You don't even know, you won't know the difference. So I've shared this with you before. Take an onion, slice it thin, and saute it in a little olive oil or any oil till it's translucent. You're not caramelizing it, just till it's translucent. Add a little garlic. Add your cauliflower rice. I buy mine frozen. You can buy it fresh, but I buy mine frozen at Trader Joe's. Throw it in, add some chopped red pepper for crunch, for texture. And I also whisk an egg just so that I can give it a little bit more body and richness. If you're watching cholesterol, do an egg beater. That will work too. And throw that in, and then use the Thai ginger marinade. It's delish, and I think you'll love it. I love green beans. I first take a shallots and I slice them thin and I saute the shallots till they're just about caramelized. But right before I throw in green beans, then I stir fry it and add some garlic, and it's delish. The shallots will add just a little different taste and texture that you're not expecting, that will change up your flavor profile. So you'll have something different. With broccoli, I love not only garlic, but I love a splash of red pepper flakes, which is delicious. It's also fun to have cut up asparagus and snow peas, stir fry them together. Delicious. Anybody here eating broccolini? Let me know if you like broccolini. And it's a little sweeter than broccoli. So that might be something delicious to experiment. And let me know if you like arugula. I love, love, love arugula, and I dress it with a quarter of a cup of olive oil and the juice of half of a lemon, salt and pepper to taste. It's all you need. Any of you roasting red peppers? It's fun to do. You can roast the red pepper by taking your red pepper and cut it in half. Preheat your oven to 500 degrees. So you need a clean oven if you're going to 500. Put some olive oil on the bottom of a pan and put the red peppers cut side up, then turn them over. So now the whole thing has got a little oil on it, and salt and pepper it, and put it in at 500 degrees for about 20 minutes. When it comes out, put it in a bowl, cover it with plastic wrap, and leave it there for about 30 minutes. It's going to steam. And when you take it out, you're going to peel off the skin so that now you have a roasted red pepper. Combine it with, in the food processor, put some basil, some oil, garlic, and process it, pulse it for about 6 to 8 times. Pour this over your red peppers, and yummy, yummy, yummy. You've got a whole delicious, different profile flavor dish. Let me know how I'm doing. These are yummy for me. I also love to just skewer some, or just put on a sheet pan, some cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, drizzle with a little olive oil and salt, and they are scrumptious. I love roasted vegetables. You can do winter squash, you can do red onion, red pepper, drizzle with a little olive oil, a little salt, and a little oregano as a different, and maybe a splash of balsamic vinegar at 350, 375 for about 20 minutes. And you've got a whole sheet pan full of nothing but vegetables that taste over the moon. Let me know. I know I'm talking fast. I'd hate to keep you guys long, but do know that you will have improved performance in your workouts. You should have quicker muscle recovery from a vegetarian diet, from more of a plant-based diet, and you will definitely reduce your risk for all chronic disease. In particular, it will help to better manage blood glucose levels for diabetes management or prevention, for heart disease prevention and management, and also reduced risk of many types of cancer. This is unquestionably, if done right, by having a high quality protein and less processed food, you will definitely have a healthier diet that will help you to reduce your risk for all chronic disease and have more energy and more oomph in your day. And that's something that I think we're all looking for, particularly at this time. Let me know if you guys are including vegetables, if there's any different ways that you have found to mix things up, because I know where many of us are still cooking at home most of the time. And as things are getting cold, we've been able to, I don't know about you, but I've been able to have much more fun by having people on my deck for dinner, much less of a risk for coronavirus having people outdoors. But now, if we start to get a little colder and come inside, things change. Hi, Joe. How are you? Thanks for this show. Options came out good this garden. You got a good garden this summer. Go you. Tell me what you grow, Joe. And hi, Tom. Pat's game on Sunday made healthier onion dip. That is really, I'm so glad you brought that up. You used my Fayet Greek yogurt, caramelized shallots, and chives, and you made those with a whole wheat wrap. Oh, that's awesome. All right. I love this. So what Tom is talking about, if any of you go on Facebook, Facebook, I have a Dishin with the Dietitian Facebook page, and I did post on that page my dip for Greek yogurt made with Fayet Greek yogurt. It is out of this world. And then you could take whole wheat pita bread, cut it in half so that instead of a pocket, you have 2 flat rounds. Cut it, cut it, cut it. You'll have 16 rounds. Put it in a cookie sheet for about 5 minutes at 400 or 350 for like 5 minutes, not even, maybe 3 minutes, till it crisps up. Spray it with spray butter. And then you can use, I can't believe it's not everything but the bagel sesame seasoning. And the spray butter is just a vehicle for to glue the seasoning to those things, and you can use it with the dip, and that's beyond unbelievable. Just so you know, another salad dressing for vegetables that I like is called Garlic Expressions. You can get it in any market. It's at Roach Brothers in their produce section, as well as many other markets. So go you. And Joe, you grow tomatoes, peppers, and herbs. That is awesome. I can't even imagine. By the way, Tom, the Pats game, Cam is doing good. And Cam, by the way, is vegan. How do you like that? And he's got plenty of energy, doesn't he? Pretty good. Just saying. And I know right now, for those of you who are sports fans, my son, as you know, is a sports broadcaster and is glued to the Celtics right now. So I hope when we went on for this live stream, we were doing well, and I'm hoping we're still doing well. So anyway, all right. So go you, Joe, for growing fresh veggies. Go you guys for including all kinds of things and for making things, from Janice's cauliflower to Tom's all kinds of vegetables and chilies. That is so great. Experiment with different herbs and spices. I love the seasonings made by Paul Prudhomme's Magic Seasonings. This one is the lemon and cracked pepper. There are many out there. It'll give all kinds of different flavor profiles to your vegetables. Oh, hi, Janice. Sounds wonderful. You're welcome so much. Thank you so much for joining me today on the live stream. It really means the world for me. To me, you might want to try the protein toppers if you're looking for a quick way to add protein to your meal. Remember that you do want to include protein with every meal, so make sure that you have an adequate intake. If you are vegan and listening to this, you need more protein than those who are not. Oh, you're welcome. You guys are really, you're just the best, just the best. Let me know if this has been helpful for you and informative for you. I hope that the ideas were helpful, that you can start to include more vegetables in many different ways. Oh, by the way, I do love the spiralized noodles. So it's another great way to include vegetables. Things like the zucchini noodles I add with marinara sauce, and the summer squash noodles with the melted cheeses that do it. And what was the salad dressing? No problem. I'm right here. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you. So this is the Garlic Expressions. I get it at my Roach Brothers in their produce section, but you can get it in many markets, typically in the produce section, not with the salad dressings. And it's terrific. It is, just so you know, a tablespoon is only 55 calories, no saturated fat, low in 225 for sodium, and hardly any sugars. So that's great. It's made from cider vinegar and canola oil. So it's just great. It goes to my limit of sodium, but I'm not a big sodium eater, so it will fit. Oh, Richard, I'm so glad. This is great. You know, it makes great feedback for me to get to know. I also want to share with you one other seasoning that I do love. There's a new seasoning that I have found, and this is at Legal Seafoods. They have their Cajun seasoning. I put it on fresh tuna, those of you who are tuna eaters. Boo! I am so glad, so glad. So I'm glad that that's why you weren't on. I have to tell you, I got nervous. It was 2 weeks in a row, and you haven't missed a one. So, Boo, you made my night by being here. I am so thrilled. And for those of you who like to season with mustard, this is the aioli at Trader Joe's, is beyond out of this world. I completely love it. So add flavor to your food, but add fiber to your food. It'll improve your overall health and give you that extra skip in your step. All right, everybody. If there's anything else, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you guys a wonderful night. And if there's something you want me to do a live stream on, let me know. I'm so glad to have you all on here tonight. This is beyond. This is just um, the greatest ever. I can't even tell you. So thanks so much, Tom. Thank you. Great content. Oh, I'm so glad. So happy to have you on. This has really been a thrill for me. Really great joy. All right, everybody, then have a great night, and definitely put 2/3 of your plate to be plant-based or whole grains, and you will notice that you will definitely feel the difference. When you give your body good, clean fuel, you do notice. Christina, how are you? I love you back. So glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for writing in your comments. They've been wonderful. This is what enriches a live stream, is all of you. All right, everybody, have a great night. Stay safe, and I will see you in 2 weeks.